Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to talk about something very close to my heart, the nature of Japanese people. When you look at Japan from the outside, you see order, politeness, and calm. But behind that quiet surface lies something deeper, a complex blend of emotions, discipline, and unspoken kindness that defines how Japanese people live, think, and relate to each other. You might say Japanese society is built not on loud expression, but on quiet understanding. And that's what makes it so unique and so hard to explain. So today, I'd like to share what lies beneath that silence. What makes Japanese people who they are, their sincerity, modesty, restraint, kindness, and sense of responsibility. It's not a list of rules. It's a way of being. And once you understand it, you start to see Japan and humanity in a new light. Let's begin. Japanese people, in general, are serious, but not in a cold or humorless way. Their seriousness comes from sincerity, from the desire to do things properly and respectfully. When a Japanese person promises something, they mean it. When they take on a job, they give their best, even when nobody's watching. There's pride in doing things the right way, even when it's inconvenient. That's why, when you see a shop clerk bowing as you leave or a construction worker guiding traffic in the rain, it's not performance. It's heart. It's a sense that even the smallest task deserves care, because every action reflects your integrity. But sincerity in Japan also means humility. People rarely brag. They don't like to show off. Even when they achieve something great, they often say, no, I still have a lot to learn. It's not fake modesty. It's a deep cultural instinct to stay grounded. To stay connected with others, you avoid standing too far above them. There's a Japanese proverb that says, "The nail that sticks out gets hammered down." To Western ears, that might sound oppressive, like individuality is being crushed. But that's not quite right. It means that harmony matters more than ego. In Japan, being part of something greater, your family, your workplace, your community, is often more fulfilling than standing alone. That's why Japanese people tend to be careful with their words and actions. They observe, they listen, they think twice before they speak, because they're always aware, not just of themselves, but of how their behavior might affect others. This awareness is something we call kuki oyomu, reading the air. It means sensing the unspoken mood, understanding what's appropriate without anyone saying it. It's emotional intelligence turned into a national art form. You don't need to be told, you just feel it. And from that, politeness is born, not as a mask, but as a way of maintaining harmony. When everyone reads the air, there's less friction, fewer conflicts. Society moves smoothly, like a quiet orchestra. Now, modesty is another defining trait. Japanese people often downplay themselves. They struggle to take compliments. When you say you're amazing, they'll say, no, not at all. It's not shyness. It's a way of balancing the emotional space between people. If you boast, you make others feel small. If you stay humble, everyone feels comfortable. And behind that humility is another value, haji, or the sense of shame. In Japan, shame is not something negative. It's a moral compass. It teaches you to behave honorably, to avoid actions that might embarrass not only yourself, but the people around you. That's why Japanese people are so careful. Not because they're afraid of punishment, but because they don't want to bring shame or inconvenience to others. You can see this in everyday life. When people make a mistake, they bow and apologize, sincerely. When they receive help, they express gratitude again and again. They do it not out of obligation, but out of awareness. A quiet recognition that everything you do touches someone else. Now, this also means that Japanese people care deeply about what others think. They pay attention to appearances, not superficial beauty, but the impression they leave. How you act in public says everything about who you are. So people try to be composed, neat, considerate, because they believe behavior is reflection. But that doesn't mean Japanese people are rigid. In private, they laugh loudly, they joke, they play. The difference is that they know when to switch, when to be formal and when to be free. It's like an emotional rhythm, balance between public grace and private warmth. Patience is another key part of Japanese character. People here are taught from childhood to endure, gaman, to tolerate discomfort without complaint. If something goes wrong, they don't shout. If they're treated unfairly, they hold back, take a breath, and carry on. It's not weakness, it's self-control. a quiet form of strength. To stay calm when life tests you is considered admirable. This ability to endure has shaped Japan's history. From natural disasters to war to economic struggles, Japan always rises again, not with loud declarations, but with steady perseverance. When everything falls apart, people come together. They rebuild, quietly, diligently, and with hope. It's collective resilience, not born of force, but of harmony. That's also why Japanese people rarely complain. Even when they're tired or stressed, they often say, "Daijubu," meaning, it's okay. They don't want to burden others with their pain. They'd rather endure silently than make someone uncomfortable. It's a beautiful, selfless instinct, though it can also be heavy to carry. And yet, in that quiet endurance, there's grace. Because it comes from empathy, from constantly thinking, how will my words or actions affect others? In Japan, kindness isn't loud. It's gentle. A stranger guiding you when you look lost. A store clerk running after you with something you forgot. A neighbor leaving vegetables at your door with no name. Kindness here doesn't seek attention. It just exists, quietly, naturally, as part of life. And even though Japanese people are incredibly kind, they also respect boundaries. They won't intrude, they won't pry. They'll help when you need it, but they won't hover or interfere. That's the delicate balance of Japanese compassion. Warm, but never overbearing. It's all rooted in one phrase, meiwaku o kakenai. Don't cause trouble for others. From childhood, this idea shapes behavior. You see it everywhere, on trains where people speak softly and silence their phones, in apartment buildings where residents walk quietly and avoid loud noise, in communities where people clean the shared streets together. It's a collective consciousness, a belief that respect for others is the foundation of peace. And of course, there's trust. Japanese people are cautious, yes, but fundamentally trusting. They believe in the goodness of others until proven wrong. That's why you can leave your phone in a cafe and come back an hour later. It's still there. You can lose your wallet and someone will turn it in untouched. It's not because there are cameras everywhere. It's because conscience is everywhere. There's a shared understanding that honesty benefits everyone. This moral awareness, this quiet conscience, is not taught by fear, but by culture. It's passed down through example, not lecture. Children watch adults bow, clean, and apologize, and they imitate them. That's how values are taught in Japan, not through rules, but through behavior. And that's the beauty of it. Japanese people don't need to talk about their virtues. They live them. Their moral code is woven into daily life, like invisible threads holding the fabric of society together. Even in cities with millions of people, there's an order, a calm, a mutual respect that seems almost impossible, yet it's real. It's made possible by millions of small, unseen choices. To stay quiet, to wait patiently, to clean up, to say thank you, to bow. Each one small, together, enormous. Of course, no culture is perfect. Sometimes this restraint can turn into pressure. Sometimes people feel trapped by expectations. Sometimes silence hides pain. But even then, the intention to keep harmony, to protect others, remains rooted in kindness. And that's something truly profound. In the end, the Japanese way of life can be summed up like this. It's not about self-expression. It's about self-awareness. Not about shining alone, but about shining together. And that's a kind of beauty that the world needs more of. So if you ever visit Japan, look closely. Watch how people move through life. The small bows, the quiet voices, the attention to detail. Notice the balance of humility and strength, the grace in the ordinary. You'll see a culture built not on noise, but on awareness. Not on rules, but on heart. And maybe when you go home, you'll take a little of that with you. The patience, the calm, the gentle way of thinking about others before yourself. Because the truth is, that's not just Japanese virtue. It's universal humanity, lived quietly. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this journey into the spirit of Japan, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who loves understanding what lies beneath the surface of cultures. Until next time, stay humble, stay kind, and stay sincere.